Mindfulness 104. Mindfulness groups. When we're walking, we can have our mindfulness on the feet, mindfulness on the arms, mindfulness on the breathing. And if we look and see something, we have our mindfulness of seeing. And when we hear the bird singing in the tree, we have the mindfulness of hearing. At the sound of the bird. Mindfulness of seeing. Here are the mindfulness of the movements of the body. All these objects of mindfulness, movements of the body, hearing, seeing, feeling of hot and cold, these things we called body objects. These mindfulness objects are grouped together to be the group of body objects. Now, when we see the tree, what happens is we have a memory that, oh, this object has a name, a label called tree. This phenomenon is the phenomenon of memory. It is different from a body object. It's a memory object. It is a mind object. And we are mindful that we remember that this object is called tree. And when we hear the bird singing, we may have a thought about the bird, and we may have the thought, where will it have lunch? It's a thought. And we can be mindful that we have this thought. Now, memory and thought are both not body objects. They are mind objects. But memory and thinking, thought objects are different. Memory is, you remember this is called a tree. You remember your name. You remember your birthday. You remember what you had for breakfast. But what you will have for lunch tomorrow is a thought. So what we have is, we have body objects and we have mindfulness. And this mindfulness is paired with the body object when we are mindful of the body object. And when we have a memory when we are mindful that we are remembering, then the mindfulness is paired with the memory. And when we have a thought, and we are thinking, and we know that we're thinking, then we have mindfulness, which is paired with the thought. So when we have a body object, a body movement, or seeing, or hearing, or breathing, and we're mindful and know that we are moving, or seeing, or hearing, mindfulness is paired with the body object. But the mindfulness and the body object are two different things, represented by the two different colors. When we have a memory and we have mindfulness, knowing that we remember, then the mindfulness is paired with the memory. And we have the memory and the mindfulness, which are two different things. When we have a thought or we are thinking and we are mindful and the mindfulness is paired with the thought, then we have the thought and the mindfulness, and these two are two different things. And body objects are different from memory. Memory is different from thought, and thought is different from body. And all of these are different from mindfulness. But the memory is different from mindfulness. The mindfulness that knows the body object, the mindfulness that knows the memory, and the mindfulness that knows the thinking, the mindfulness is the same. And we can have mindfulness that knows that we are mindful. Mindfulness that knows we are mindful. So in this case, this mindfulness is the object, and this is the mindfulness that knows that object. So we have four objects of mindfulness. Body objects, call it class group A. Memory objects, which is group B. Thought objects, which is group C. And mindfulness as an object, which is group M. So here we have four objects of mindfulness. Body objects, memory objects, thought objects, and mindfulness itself. There is one more group of mindfulness group of feeling. This will be dealt with in another module. We have body objects and we have mind objects, which comprises of B, memory, C, thought, and M, mindfulness.